Picture this: a young couple, barely 20, standing at the altar. Their hands tremble, not from cold, but from the shock of sensation. This is the first time they've ever touched. No stolen kisses in parking lots. No hands intertwined during movies. For months, maybe years, they've sat across rooms from each other, close enough to hear each other breathe, forbidden to close the distance. Now, in front of 300 witnesses, they're about to experience everything at once. Their first touch, their first kiss, their first moment alone, all compressed into a single, overwhelming night. This is Amish courtship, and it operates on rules so severe they would break most modern relationships before they even began. Number 1, the father's door. The sun hasn't fully risen when Jacob approaches the house. He's rehearsed this moment for weeks, yet his hands still shake as he knocks. Inside, Sarah's father sits at the kitchen table, waiting. He knew this was coming. Everyone in a community of 200 people knows when a young man starts looking at a particular girl during Sunday service. But knowing doesn't make this ritual any less formal, any less consequential. Jacob removes his straw hat, holds it against his chest, and speaks the words that will determine his entire future. "I'd like permission to court your daughter." What happens next isn't a conversation. It's an interrogation disguised as hospitality. The father offers coffee, gestures to a chair, and begins asking questions that cut to the bone. Which church district does your family belong to? Has everyone been baptized? What trade have you learned? How much land does your father own? These aren't small talk. They're an assessment of bloodlines, reputation, spiritual standing, and economic viability. The father already knows most of the answers. He's been watching Jacob since he was a boy. But this moment demands the performance, the humility of asking, the acknowledgement that access to his daughter isn't a right, it's a privilege granted only after proving worthiness. Modern people hear this and recoil. A woman needing her father's permission to date? It sounds medieval, oppressive, a relic of a time when daughters were property transferred from one man to another. But in this kitchen, in this moment, there's a different logic at play. The father isn't just protecting his daughter. He's protecting the intricate web of relationships that holds the community together. A bad match doesn't just hurt two people, it creates fractures across multiple families, disrupts business partnerships, complicates church dynamics. When everyone you know lives within 5 miles and you'll see them twice a week for the rest of your life, compatibility isn't just romantic, it's communal survival. Sarah, upstairs, hears the murmur of voices through the floorboards. She knows what's being discussed, knows her entire future is being negotiated, without her present. Later, her father will ask her her opinion, but they both understand the power dynamics. If he says no, her agreement means nothing. If he says yes, her refusal would be possible, but almost unthinkable. A rejection not just of Jacob, but of her father's judgment, his authority, his role as spiritual head of the household. She waits, listening to the cadence of conversation, trying to decode approval or rejection in the tone of her father's voice. In the space between floorboards and ceiling, between question and answer, her entire life hangs suspended. Number 2, the unbridgeable distance. They're sitting 6 feet apart in her family's living room, surrounded by people, yet the distance feels infinite. Jacob's hands rest on his knees, fingers occasionally twitching toward her before he catches himself. Sarah keeps her arms folded, a physical barrier against her own impulses. Between them, the empty space pulses with everything they cannot do. No reaching across to touch her hand, no leaning in to whisper something meant only for her ears, no testing the chemistry that supposedly tells modern couples whether they're physically compatible. This is what Amish courtship looks like in practice, an exercise in perpetual restraint. They've been courting for 8 months now, seeing each other every Sunday evening, and in all that time, their skin has never once made contact. Not a handshake, not an accidental brush of fingers, nothing. Modern psychology would call this torture. denying one of the most fundamental human needs, the tactile confirmation of connection. Touch releases oxytocin, builds trust, communicates what words cannot. Without it, how do you know if there's real attraction, real chemistry, real potential for physical intimacy? But in this living room, with Sarah's younger siblings playing on the floor and her mother knitting in the corner, a different kind of intimacy is being forged. They're learning to read each other without the shorthand of physical contact. The slight widening of her eyes when he says something funny, the way his voice softens when he talks about the future. They're building a relationship on words, on glances, on the discipline of waiting. Every conversation matters more because there's nothing else. No holding hands to fill awkward silences, no kiss to seal an argument resolved. The wedding is 4 months away now, the date set, the announcement made in church. They're excited, terrified, and completely unprepared for what comes after. Their first kiss will happen in front of 300 people. Their first embrace will be witnessed by every person they've ever known. And their wedding night will be the first time they navigate physical intimacy with no practice, no progression, no gradual building of comfort. Modern couples test drive cars before buying them, live together before marrying, ensure sexual compatibility before committing. Jacob and Sarah will discover everything simultaneously, whether they like kissing each other, whether their bodies fit together comfortably, whether desire translates to satisfaction. There's no dress rehearsal. There's only the performance.
Number 3, the constant witnesses. Anna is 14 and fed up with chaperoning her older sister. Every Sunday evening for the past 6 months, she's had to sit in the corner of the living room, pretending to read while actually watching Emma and her suitor Daniel navigate conversation under surveillance. It's boring and awkward, and Anna has started documenting the ridiculous lengths the couple goes to for semi-privacy, whispering in Pennsylvania Dutch even though Anna speaks it fluently, sitting on opposite sides of the porch where they're technically still visible but barely audible, once even attempting a conversation in the barn until Anna's mother sent her running after them. This is the reality of Amish courtship. There is no privacy, ever. Every date happens in public space with designated observers. When Daniel takes Emma for a buggy ride, Anna sits in the back. When they attend to singing, they're surrounded by 50 other young people. When they talk after church, multiple sets of eyes track their interaction, noting how close they stand, how long they speak, whether their body language suggests anything inappropriate. The community functions as a collective chaperone, with everyone responsible for maintaining the boundaries that protect unmarked couples from temptation. Modern people hear this and immediately think, how can you actually get to know someone without ever being alone? How do you have difficult conversations with an audience? How do you be vulnerable, authentic, truly yourself when someone is always watching? These are valid questions, rooted in a worldview that values privacy as fundamental to intimacy. But the Amish operate from a different premise, that being alone creates temptation too strong for human willpower, that accountability prevents sin, that nothing meaningful should be hidden from the community that will support the marriage afterward. Emma and Daniel have learned to create privacy within public space. They've developed their own language of glances. They time their conversations for moments when chaperones are distracted. They write letters, subject to parental review, that say everything important in carefully chosen words that satisfy both their need to communicate and their parents' need to monitor. It's like trying to build a relationship through a glass wall, visible to everyone. Authentic intimacy performed for an audience. And in 3 months, when they marry, all those witnesses will become their support system. The network that holds them accountable, offers help, enforces community standards. The invasion of privacy during courtship becomes the infrastructure of support during marriage. The watching never stops. It just changes form. Number 4, The shrinking timeline. Michael has been courting Ruth for 14 months, and the pressure is building. His father pulled him aside last week with a simple question, "So when are you proposing?" It wasn't really a question. It was a reminder that time is running out. Amish Courtship operates on a strict clock, 18 to 24 months maximum, with community expectations leaning toward the shorter end. After that, questions start circulating. What's wrong? Why haven't they committed? Are they serious or wasting each other's time? This timeline shocks modern couples who date for years before even discussing marriage, who believe in taking time to truly know someone, who want to test compatibility through multiple seasons of life before committing forever. The average American relationship lasts 4 to 5 years before engagement. Many couples live together first, observe each other in daily life, see how the other person handles conflict, stress, and mundane routine. The Amish allowed none of this. You meet, you court under strict supervision, you decide within 2 years whether to marry, or you break up. The reasoning is brutally practical. Extended courtship serves no purpose in a system where you can't live together, can't be intimate, can't really test day-to-day compatibility anyway. The longer a courtship continues, the stronger physical attraction grows, while the boundaries preventing any expression of that attraction remain immovable. It's a pressure cooker designed to either forge commitment or explode. And in small communities, where the dating pool is limited, maybe 30 potential partners in your age range, wasting years on someone you won't marry means potentially missing your only chance at marriage. Michael knows this. He's 22 now, Ruth is 20, and if he doesn't propose soon, her father will likely end the courtship himself to give Ruth time to find someone else before she becomes too old. The wedding would happen next November, after harvest, during wedding season when the community can pause work to celebrate. That gives them 4 months of engagement for practical preparation. They'll build furniture together, plan their household, attend pre-marriage counseling with the bishop. Romance doesn't factor into engagement. It's treated as a business arrangement, a merging of two families' resources and reputations. And divorce isn't possible. So this decision, made in their early 20s, after less than 2 years of supervised conversation, will determine their entire lives. No pressure. Number 5, the provider's burden. Samuel is 18 and in love, but it might be 5 years before he can marry. The girl, Rebecca, is 16, and both families approve of the match. The obstacle isn't emotional compatibility or parental permission, it's economics. Samuel must prove he can support a family before he's allowed to marry, and that requirement is substantial. He needs an established trade, saved money, secured housing, and demonstrated ability to generate sustainable income. These aren't suggestions, they're prerequisites, enforced by Rebecca's father and endorsed by the entire community. This requirement creates a strange inversion of modern dating patterns. In secular America, couples often marry young and struggle financially together, building careers and wealth as partners. Women's income is expected and necessary. Dual income households are the default. But in Amish communities, the man must arrive at marriage financially prepared to support an entire family alone. His future wife will likely be pregnant within months, will have multiple children in rapid succession, and will focus entirely on domestic responsibilities. There is no "let's both work while we save up" option. The husband's income must be sufficient immediately to sustain everyone. Samuel apprentices as a carpenter, working 12-hour days, saving aggressively. He's building a small house on his father's property, not himself, but with help from extended family and community members who donate time and materials. By age 23, if everything goes well, he'll have established his carpentry business, completed the house, and accumulated enough savings to weather unexpected problems. Only then can he propose to Rebecca, who will have waited 5 years for him, her youth passing in this strange limbo of promise but postponed future. Modern couples would balk at this. Why can't Rebecca work? Why must the entire financial burden fall on one person? Why define masculinity through provider ability when partnership could be more equitable? But the Amish answer points to clearly defined gender roles considered biblically mandated and practically necessary. In a culture producing large families, 6 to 10 children is typical. Wives' labor is consumed entirely by domestic and child-rearing responsibilities. The system doesn't work unless the husband's income can sustain the household alone. So young men spend their late teens and early 20s building economic foundations, while their potential wives develop domestic skills, embroidery, canning, cooking, sewing, preparation for their role as household managers. The courtship might start at 18, but the wedding doesn't happen until the man can prove he's ready to provide. And if he never achieves sufficient economic stability, he never marries, regardless of his desire or his partner's willingness.
Number 6, the family tribunal. When Levi asked permission to court Martha, he thought getting her father's approval was the finish line. It was actually just the beginning. Over the next 3 months, he finds himself navigating an entire extended family network, each member holding potential veto power over his future. Martha's grandfather pulled him aside after church to discuss his baptism. 2 uncles questioned his farming knowledge at a barn raising. An aunt who married into the family from a different church district expressed concerns about theological differences between their communities. Even Martha's older married sister got involved, asking pointed questions about his commitment to church discipline. This is the Amish version of background checking, not through Google searches or credit reports, but through the intimate knowledge that comes from intergenerational memory in small communities. They're researching his family history going back generations, looking for patterns. Was there mental illness in his mother's line? Did his grandfather get shunned for breaking church rules? Is there a history of financial instability, alcohol problems, or theological rebellion? In communities where everyone is distantly related, after 300 years of limited gene pools, genetic concerns are real. Marry the wrong cousin and you risk birth defects. Marry into a family with a history of shunning and you bring that stigma into your own family line. Modern individualism allows people to choose partners based solely on personal connection, treating families as peripheral rather than central to the relationship. But Amish marriage operates on a different assumption. You're not just marrying a person, you're marrying their entire family network, their reputation, their standing in the community. A marriage creates new kinship bonds, business partnerships, lines of inheritance, and mutual obligation that ripple across the entire social structure. One bad match can create tensions that last generations, especially in communities where you can't simply move away from family drama. Martha and Levi watch this process unfold with limited control over the outcome. If unanimous family opposition emerges, they face an impossible choice: proceed and lose family standing, or submit and break up despite their own desires. Most couples defer to family wisdom, unable to imagine life outside the community structure that defines their existence. The modern romantic ideal of love conquering all sounds poetic until you realize that love without community support, in a society built on interdependence, means isolation neither person is equipped to survive. So they wait while grandparents deliberate, uncles investigate, aunts gossip, and the network of extended family slowly reaches consensus about whether this match will strengthen or weaken the intricate web of relationships that holds their world together. Number 7, the secret engagement. They've been engaged for 6 weeks, but Rebecca can't tell anyone. Not her best friend since childhood, not her cousins who ask why she seems distracted lately, not even her younger siblings who would immediately tell everyone if they knew. The engagement happened privately. Daniel asked her father's permission, received blessing, proposed to Rebecca in the family living room with both sets of parents present. She said yes, they're engaged. But according to protocol, no one outside immediate family can know until the publishing announcement during church service, which won't happen for another month. This enforced secrecy feels almost impossible to maintain. Rebecca has to act completely normal while her entire internal world has transformed. She sees Daniel at church and must treat him exactly as before. No special glances, no inside jokes, no behavior that suggests their relationship status has changed. She helps her mother with chores while desperately wanting to talk about the future, the household she's planning, the furniture Daniel is building. She attends youth singings where friends discuss potential couples, sometimes speculating about her and Daniel, and she has to deflect, without lying, a verbal tightrope that exhausts her. Modern couples announce engagements immediately, often elaborately. The engagement process is performed for cameras, shared instantly across social media, celebrated with parties and congratulations. The engagement period becomes a prolonged public celebration marked by engagement photos, bridal showers, registry gifts, and constant attention. The Amish approach inverts this entirely. Engagement is private, almost secretive, focused on practical preparation rather than celebration. The community learns all at once through formal church announcement, preventing gossip while maintaining humility and proper protocol. The reasoning emphasizes spiritual values over personal celebration. Making the engagement public would draw attention to the couple, feeding pride and vanity. Keeping it quiet maintains humility, prevents showiness, and ensures the community learns through proper channels rather than rumor mill. So Rebecca guards her secret, this enormous life-changing reality that she can't share, watching the calendar until the Sunday when the bishop will read their names aloud and everyone will finally know what she's been hiding. The absence of engagement rings helps. There's no visible symbol to hide, no diamond catching light during chores, just the knowledge burning inside her that in 5 months, her entire life will change, and for now, she must pretend nothing has changed at all. Number 8, the final separation. The wedding is in 9 days, and Anna hasn't seen Thomas in 10 days. This is the final requirement, the last test before marriage, complete separation for the week before the ceremony. No seeing each other, no communication, no contact of any kind. Modern couples who spend increasing time together as their wedding approaches, who have final dress fittings together, rehearsal dinners, and late-night talks about the future, find the separation bizarre and unnecessarily cruel. But for the Amish, this week serves specific purposes: building anticipation, allowing final preparation, and creating space for serious reflection without the distraction of the partner's presence. Anna spends these days in constant motion, trying to keep her mind occupied. She sews her wedding dress, deep purple, simple in design, made to be worn again for church Sundays after the wedding. She practices recipes with her mother, receiving final instruction in cooking for a husband, managing a household, preparing for the arrival of children that will likely begin within the year. Her older married sisters visit to share advice about the wedding night, awkward conversations that dance around specifics while emphasizing patience, submission, and the importance of prayer. She organizes the household goods she's accumulated, quilts sewn over years, kitchen tools collected from birthdays and Christmases, canned goods she preserved herself. Thomas, meanwhile, finishes the bedroom furniture he's been building for months. The bed frame, dresser, wardrobe, all handcrafted, all designed to last a lifetime. He makes final arrangements for their living situation, a small house attached to his parents' property where they'll live initially while building their own home. He meets with the bishop for final pre-marriage counseling, discussing headship, spiritual leadership, the responsibilities of being a husband and father. He works his normal job because there's no such thing as pre-wedding vacation, but his mind is elsewhere, counting down days until he sees Anna again. The separation serves another purpose neither discusses openly. It forces both to sit with their decision without the influence of attraction, affection, or the partner's presence. This is the last chance to back out, the final opportunity for doubt to surface before making an irrevocable commitment. Because once they marry, divorce doesn't exist. Church rules allow separation only for adultery or abandonment, and even then, remarriage is forbidden. So they spend this week alone with their thoughts, their prayers, their preparations, making sure this is really what they want. And on wedding morning, after 10 days of absence, they'll reunite at the ceremony itself, the separation having transformed them from courting couple to husband and wife, marked by the first moment their hands touch, the first kiss, witnessed by everyone they know, the beginning of everything they've waited months or years to experience.
Number 9, the wedding without escape. The wedding starts at 8 in the morning and won't end until evening. Sarah sits on a wooden bench in the living room of her parents' home, furniture pushed to the walls to accommodate 300 guests. Across from her, on the men's side, sits Jacob. They've been listening to sermons for 3 hours already. 2 ministers have spoken, and the bishop has just begun his message about marriage, the spiritual covenant, the permanence of commitment, the roles of husband and wife. There are no flowers, no decorations, no music except hymns sung a cappella. There is no wedding march, no emotional walk down an aisle, no reading of personalized vows. When the ceremony finally reaches the actual marriage moment, it's almost anticlimactic. The bishop asked if Sarah and Jacob promised to remain together until death, to be faithful, to fulfill their God-ordained roles. They answer yes in Pennsylvania Dutch, soft voices barely audible beyond the first few rows. The bishop blesses them. They're married. No pronouncement of, "You may kiss the bride," that will come later, in private, away from witnesses. For now, they simply return to their seats and listen to more sermons while officially husband and wife. The celebration that follows bears no resemblance to modern wedding receptions. There's no DJ, no dancing, no alcohol, no speeches or toasts. Instead, there's food, massive amounts prepared by the community over previous days. Tables of roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, stuffing, creamed celery, bread, desserts. The couple sits at the Eck, a corner table decorated simply, receiving guests who come by to offer congratulations. Afternoon stretches into evening with more eating, hymn singing, conversation. Young people play volleyball outside, children run everywhere. By evening, Sarah and Jacob are exhausted, overwhelmed, and facing the most challenging part, the wedding night. Unlike modern couples who escape to private honeymoon locations, Sarah and Jacob will spend their first night as husband and wife in her parents' home, either in the attached Dottie house or an upstairs bedroom with family members in adjacent rooms, fully aware of what's occurring. There is no romantic getaway, no luxurious hotel, no privacy beyond a closed door. And because they've never been physically intimate, never kissed, never touched, never even held hands, they must navigate their entire first sexual experience simultaneously with no progression, no practice, no gradual building of comfort. Everything happens at once. First kiss, first embrace, first time seeing each other undressed, first attempt at intimacy. The wedding night becomes overwhelming trial by fire, especially given that neither has access to comprehensive sex education beyond vague advice from married relatives. They're expected to figure it out together immediately while exhausted from the longest day of their lives, conscious of family nearby, carrying all the weight of expectation and nerves that come with complete inexperience. There's no honeymoon to ease into married life. The next morning, both will return to work. Jacob to his carpentry, Sarah to her new household duties. Married life beginning immediately, without transition, without escape, without the gradual adjustment modern couples take for granted.
Number 10, the integration. They've been married for 3 days, and Sarah still hasn't been alone with Jacob. Not really. They're living in the small apartment attached to his parents' home, sharing walls with his family, eating meals with everyone, navigating married life under constant observation. The first morning after the wedding, Sarah woke at 5 to help her mother-in-law prepare breakfast for the family. Jacob went to work by 7. They're married, but their daily lives look almost identical to before, except now they share a bed, and everyone expects a pregnancy announcement within months. This is the reality of Amish post-wedding life that shocks modern sensibilities. There's no honeymoon period, no escape from community and family, no gradual transition into married life. Modern couples take vacations, find their own rhythm, adjust to living together in private before facing the world. Sarah and Jacob get none of that. They're immediately integrated into the community as a married unit, attending church in new sections, taking on new responsibilities, expected to function as experienced spouses from day one. The house they're living in is temporary.
Eventually, they'll build their own home, probably within the next year. But even then, it will be on family property, within sight of relatives, embedded in the community network that provided no privacy during courtship and will provide none during marriage. Modern Americans who treasure privacy, who move away from family, who believe in healthy boundaries, find this suffocating. But the Amish see it differently. Marriage isn't an escape from community into private partnership. It's an integration into community as a new unit. The couple's relationship supported, observed, and held accountable by the same network that supervised their courtship and will provide none during marriage. Sarah is learning to cook Jacob's favorite foods from his mother, who hovers with advice and criticism. Jacob is navigating his father's expectations about when they'll start farming together more seriously. They're building their marriage in the presence of everyone who raised them, with no space to make private mistakes, work through conflicts without an audience, or develop their own household culture separate from family tradition. And Sarah is already calculating dates, counting weeks, wondering if she's pregnant yet. In 6 months, she'll likely be showing. In a year, she'll be nursing an infant while managing a household. In 5 years, she might have 3 children. Her identity as an individual is rapidly dissolving into her roles as wife, daughter-in-law, and mother, all observed, all commented upon, all evaluated by the community that will never let them simply be alone together. So what do we make of this? A system of courtship so controlled it would make most modern people flee in horror. No touching, no privacy, no extended time to decide, no honeymoon, no escape from family observation. Parents choosing partners, communities enforcing boundaries, individuals submitting to collective wisdom. It looks like oppression, patriarchy, the complete denial of autonomy and freedom. And yet, these communities have almost zero divorce rates, not because divorce is impossible, though it essentially is, because something in this system, the careful vetting, the family involvement, the clear expectations, the community support, creates marriages that last. Modern America, with all its freedom and autonomy, has a 50% divorce rate. We date who we want, live together first, test compatibility, prioritize personal chemistry and individual fulfillment, and half the time, it still fails. Maybe the Amish aren't rejecting romance. Maybe they're rejecting romance as the foundation for lifelong commitment. They're choosing compatibility over chemistry, community approval over individual passion, practical preparation over emotional intensity. They're betting that marriages built on family integration, shared values, clear roles, and community support outlast marriages built on feeling in love. We can't replicate this system. Most of us wouldn't want to. The lack of autonomy, the gender roles, the absence of privacy, these violate core values most modern people hold. But maybe there's something to learn from people who take marriage so seriously, they're willing to wait years for permission, accept family veto power, never touch the person they're marrying until the wedding, and build their entire courtship under community observation. Their rules are severe, but they're answering a question we've stopped asking. How do you build marriages that last a lifetime in a world designed to make everything temporary?